I don't think the problem was necessarily drafting Trey Lance. It was the fact that you never committed or made or had a laid out plan for Trey Lance once you had him. There's nothing wrong as a franchise going up and getting your quarterback, your guy of the future, but the better teams in the league, or at least the teams that where the young quarterback succeeds, is where they tend to have an actual plan laid out and they stick to it. Like Josh Allen, he played right away. He wanted to get his bones in while he can and learn on the job. And then Patrick Mahomes, he sat for a whole year.
Real quick, though, I think I'm with you, but here's where I think this went wrong. I mean, Allen was drafted into a rebuilding team, and there weren't a bunch of vets saying, "Oh, we don't want to play with it." Like let's compare the 49ers to the Patriots, because everyone's praising the Patriots for how they're handling Mac Jones. It was so much easier for them. Cam Newton had no capital built up in that organization or locker room. He'd been there a year. They didn't win with him. Jimmy had the locker room.
True.
He had the locker room in a way that I don't even think Kyle did. And I don't think Kyle got it. So when you pulled the rug out from Jimmy and kept him, this locker room was going to be like, all right, let's go with Trey Lance. You're going to be like, whoa. Jimmy's good. Jimmy's better than me. If Jimmy isn't safe, where do I stand? This is not right. It just seems like Kyle didn't understand how much sway and cachet Jimmy has in that locker room. It kind of messed up the season.
And I do think that's true, but if you would have had like the exact like I was saying, like if you had a whole plan laid out, I don't think the guys would have had that much of a deal with it. Like if you would have said Trey Lance was our guy from day one, and we're adjusting our offense to what Trey Lance does best, then you roll with it. Because
George Kittle was pouting through training camp, was he not? I mean, we all kind of saw that. I honestly feel. Here's the thing: I don't think it's that easy to just transition from quarterbacks if the quarterback has the locker room. I mean, maybe if Kyle Shanahan had won that Super Bowl, people would be like, all right, do whatever you want. We trust you. But I think he just didn't understand how his team would look at him after he did that trade. Because they spent 2 years after the Super Bowl saying it's not Jimmy's fault. It's not Jimmy's fault in every press conference. And then at the very end, they're like, damn, Kyle really did think it was Jimmy's fault. That's wild.
I mean, but let's be honest, though. Like, we all felt, at least most people felt it was on both Kyle and Jimmy.
But we didn't know how the locker room felt. And I think the locker room felt like, look, that's a team loss. It's not Jimmy's fault. The defense gave up 21 points in the last 7 minutes. I mean, how can you put this all on Jimmy? Jimmy's one of us.
That's true. He is looked at as one of the guys, but it's just.
And he took all the crap for it. I mean, he wasn't like, oh, it was George Kittle's fault or it was. Nah, I mean, Jimmy's,
That is true. It did all kind of go on Jimmy the way Kyle explained it, instead of taking some blame for himself. What do you think the odds are, though, that we do make one of the final seeds in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's looking real possible, right? They're a talented team. The teams in front of them aren't that talented. Like the Saints are the 6th seed right now, and they have a quarterback who hasn't won yet this season, Trevor Siemian. So they should. But again, I keep going back to the 2014 Niners. They were 7-5. They lost that one game at home to Seattle, and everything unraveled. I wonder how strong this team is if they lose a game in the next 3 weeks. If they lose to Minnesota, if they lose to Seattle, what happens? They're riding high right now, but they were riding super high after the Chicago game. I'm not answering your question. I guess I feel like this team is going to come up a little short. I have a feeling something's wrong. Something is really wrong with the locker room. And despite how talented they are, they're going to come up a little short like 2014. Now, I hope for everyone's sake they go to the playoffs. I want to cover a playoff team. I like covering playoff games. That's fun. But something tells me something's off this year. Something's off.
I agree with you 100%. I think there's excitement right now, but I do think eventually there'll be a point where it'll just kind of fall a little short, whether that's because of Kyle, whether it's because of the quarterback play with Jimmy, whatever it may be, the defense, whatever it may be. Whatever. But to your point, though, too, about emancipating a man, I think the difference between this team and 2014, the comparison you're trying to make, is that the reason why it imploded so bad after that Seattle loss was because Jed York kind of emancipated Jim in the offseason after that 2013 season, saying that there's most likely he's not going to be around.
Lame ducked him. Yeah, he definitely lame ducked him for sure. But that's what I did with Jimmy this year.
So once you lose to a game like you did against Seattle, which was embarrassing on Thanksgiving night, you're already basically checked out at that point as a player.
Like, okay, he's definitely not coming. He's definitely not coming back. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, which I'm still mad at Jed about, but hey, we
But I'm
can't
saying
get rid of
like
the owner,
let's say
right?
let's say Jimmy loses to the Jaguars tomorrow, or to the or to the Vikings the week after that, and Kyle just says something really critical of him after, like, it's, oh, okay, well, now we're gonna bench him. Well, I think a big reason he hasn't benched Jimmy yet is he's wondering, well, will my team play for Trey? I don't know if this team will play for Trey. I don't know.
I mean, at the same time, though, if he does lose to a Jacksonville, you would have to bench him. Like, there's no excuse to lose to Jacksonville unless Kyle put him in a situation where he's passing right off the get and it's like 45 total passing attempts instead of running the ball more than passing. Unless it's a situation like that, then I don't see how you can start Jimmy after losing to Jacksonville. Considering the Panthers got momentum with Cam Newton coming back, um, I don't believe the Saints will do much. And then the other team that you mentioned for the wild card spot of Minnesota, I think they have a real chance. So, I mean, if you lose to Jacksonville, you're kind of tanking, and you might as well just run with Trey Lance. And if people don't want to play for him, well, guess what? About out of the 22 starters, only about 10 of them are going to be returning next year. So
It's
that's
true,
just my
man.
opinion.